What's up, guys? It's me, Amaze the Storyteller, back at you with a brand new video, and today we're going to be talking about Magellan, the demon guard of Impel Down himself. Sorry, he's not a demon guard. He doesn't deserve that title. The demon guards are way less effective than Magellan himself. No, Magellan is the vice warden currently of Impel Down, and the only reason he's vice warden is because he wanted to kill himself after what happened during the breakout of Impel Down. So, we're going to be talking about Warden. There we go, I got it. Magellan. I couldn't say that for some reason. So weird. Some words you just struggle with, some words you don't. Alright, let's get into it. Who is Magellan? Well, Magellan is the poison fruit eater. He's an incredibly menacing guy. He stands at like fucking 14 feet tall. I don't even know if he's human. Can we answer that first? Is Magellan even human? I don't know. He doesn't look human. He's got like devil horns and stuff. I'm going to put an image up here, obviously, but he's got like devil horns and stuff. And also, the whole reason I'm making this video is because I have no idea if he's a paramecia or if he's a logia. Because he exudes signs of both. Now, I understand with Katakuri, Magellan could be like a special paramecia, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I've rewatched Impel Down probably 5 or 6 times in my lifetime, and I've rewatched the episodes last night 4 times just to make this video, because I wanted desperately to figure out, is he or is he not a paramecia user? Now, what I found was that the answer to both is yes, because bullets seem to go right through him. Whenever like Ivankov's running and Ivankov's Okama crew stand back and they fire, because there's a scene where like all of the dudes are like, wow, anyone with guns, shoot Magellan! Like that's gonna do something, right? And they're like, okay! And they start shooting at Magellan. And you see the bullets just start piercing him. The thing is, though, is that if he was only a paramecia fruit user, it would be like Mr. 3, who is not immune to bullets. He would have to create some kind of wall of poison, or, Oda would have to write in a way to show that Magellan's not a Logia. But no, even in the manga, I'm going to put some panels up here, even in the manga, he exudes signs of a Logia where his body physically turns into poison. So again, I'm sitting here like, what the heck is Magellan? Is he a paramecia? Is he a logia? Is he a special paramecia? And the truth of the matter is, we won't know for certain until Oda makes a statement. And he may have. There might be an SBS somewhere out there that I haven't seen. So if you guys come across that, just send it to me or make your own video about it and tag me in it. That'd be awesome, because I'd love to see that. But another reason I'm talking about him is because he is extremely overpowered for the point in the story that he shows up in. I mean, he shows up, he stomps, and the freaking sound effects in anime, in the manga it's crazier, but in the anime, you hear the with like every step. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So I think when Magellan was introduced, the idea was that he's going to be introduced to be as strong as a Navy admiral, because he's the head of the entire prison system that the One Piece world is like built around. Like, if you're a pirate and you get caught, you go to Impel Down. Now, the One Piece world is probably like 70 to 60% pirates. It's the majority. The majority of the world seems to be pirates. So this prison is massive. And to have a leader, a figurehead of that prison, you need this guy to be the ultimate devil. And that's exactly what Magellan is. He's so imposing. He's so imposing. When he is first introduced, you're like, oh, whatever, he's taking his shit again. Because he has diarrhea. He keeps eating fucking poison. The really interesting part about that, and I know I'm getting on a lot of side tangents, because Magellan's super cool, but the reason he eats so many poisons is so that he can come up with new neurotoxins. And it's actually stated by Hannibal, who's his vice warden, that whenever Magellan is eating poison, it's because he's trying to figure out new poisons to make that are either more lethal or less lethal. Now, here's the weirdest part. Doku Doku actually translates to venom venom. Venom and poison are two separate entities. And I went back and I read everything. And it could be a translation error, or it could just be an onomatopoeia that sounds correct in Oda's mind. But it's really strange. It's really strange because what Magellan produces is actually venom. It's neurotoxin. But when you're breaking it down from a poison perspective, it's very strange. It's very strange. Anyway, that's why Magellan eats so much poison, is to try and come up with new ways to kill his prison nurse. Which is crazy. He's a crazy dude. Crazy dude. Don't mess with Magellan. If you go to Impel Down, guys, do not mess with Magellan. Hannibal, mess with him. Alright, the dude's a moron. I don't know why he's the vice warden. Because Shiryu should have been the vice warden when he was introduced, to be honest with you. Shiryu's way stronger. Hannibal, not that strong. Not that strong in comparison. Like, why is the head jailer above the vice warden in terms of power? That's another thing I don't understand. Because Shiryu, when he was first introduced, just diced up those guards like they were nothing. It'd been way cooler if Hannibal was like the third in command who was best friends with Magellan. And Shiryu had to be imprisoned for killing too many prisoners. And Hannibal gets moved up into that slot. You know what I mean? Another thing that really bothers me about Impel Down as an arc, why the fuck are all these guys prisoners? Why not just execute them? I don't understand. Why not just kill every single one of these dudes? Like, they're horrible pirates. Why are they still alive? Like, Crocodile has no business being alive in level 6. In fact, like, when they introduce level 6, they're like, these are for the most heinous criminals on the planet. These are for the worst of the worst scumbags. So bad that the world government just wants to hide their existence and make it seem like they never existed. So why keep them? Why keep them? What is the benefit of keeping these prisoners down here? Just kill them. Just kill them. Now, I know you don't have a story like that, but like, is there laws? Is there laws that protect pirates in the One Piece world? That's so weird. Why are there laws protecting pirates? Does this mean that the world government has laws protecting? I mean, listen. I'm trying really hard not to like spiral out of control here. Trying to stay on topic. We're talking about Magellan, but this is really important because, like, why can't Magellan just kill everybody in the prison? I know he legally can, like he says he has the authority to do so, but why not do it? Like, it makes no sense. And maybe I missed something. Maybe level 6 prisoners are like slowly starving to death, or it's just eternal nothingness. But it really seems like there's prisoners there that are there for a long time. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, are they eating each other? Are they drinking each other's blood or urine? I don't know. I don't understand. Why keep these guys alive if they're so horrible and heinous? The only thing I could think of is that the world government wants to potentially utilize these guys to their advantage as either slaves for the celestial dragons, or maybe they want to utilize them as privateers similar to the warlords. I don't know. I don't think it's stated anywhere. I know the celestial dragon part is stated, like a lot of the prisoners end up becoming slaves. But the thing is that, like, by that point, the prisoners would just kill themselves. Like, they have no desire to be slaves for the celestial dragons. So you really can't control them. Like, you're not bartering something in order for the prisoners to comply. You're not like, because these guys don't fear death. You have to remember, the craziest part about Magellan being the warden of the entire prison of Impel Down is that most, if not all, of the pirates that go to Impel Down are worth 10 million berries or more. Like Buggy. Buggy was worth 16 million berries. He gets put in level 2 Impel Down. Mr. 3 was worth, I think, like 14 or 15. He might have been worth 18. I think he was 18 million. He was worth 18 million, slapped into Impel Down level 2. You know, that's the lowest levels. 1 and 2 are the lowest levels. Those guys have like 10 million berries or more, right? Arlong was stashed in level 3 somewhere, I'm sure. Same with Mr. 2. You know, those guys have like 20 or more million berries. And then you have like 4 or 5. Now, 4 and 5 are really interesting because 4, like, it goes from like 30, 20 and 30 to freaking like above 50. What? So I'm guessing like level 2 houses a lot and level 3 houses a lot, because once you get to level 4, it like jumps to like 50 to 100 million berries. And then when you get to level 5 and level 6, those are like the most heinous criminals ever. Now, I have a theory about this, and it does regard Magellan. I promise I'm getting back to Magellan. when we look at Magellan and we look at Impel Down, the way the system seems to run is that if you act up in any capacity, Magellan doesn't just like you. He doesn't just Doku you up. No, he throws you in the next level. And that seems to work really well. You actually have scenes with Buggy and Mr. 3 where they're like, don't throw us in level 3. Anything. It smells like anus. And actually, Buggy says anus quite a lot. He's like, it smells like anus. Don't torture my anus. So apparently, the Impel Down guards, specifically Sadie's freaking crazy, probably do butt stuff to you. So you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to Impel Down, guys. But like the craziest part, to me, again, and going back, retracting everything I just talked about, why doesn't Magellan just kill these guys? Like, honest to God. I understand there has to be, like, plot, and it wouldn't make sense because Ace is about to be executed, but, like, the time crunch would have worked just as well if Magellan was like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill Ace. Luffy still has to, like, rescue Ace in that case and fight Magellan. Like, everything would work out almost the same. But yeah, no, I really, really don't understand a lot about Impel Down, which is why it's so captivating. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. Give me 1 second. Let me get a swig. Let me get a swig. Let me know in the comments below, what energy drinks do you guys enjoy the most? Mine is probably Bucked Up, not because of like the rednecky side of it, but because it tastes pretty damn good. Like the flavor out of all the energy drinks I've had is incredible. All right. Back to Magellan. Magellan's really interesting. I think he's pretty cool. He shits all the time, which is really funny because he keeps mixing poisons like we talked about, trying to come up with a new one to kill prisoners, but then doesn't, that whole thing, kind of crazy. Dude, I'm telling you, I hope Magellan comes back into the story because his power, and I know I'm going to get some flack for this, but I totally believe his power is so similar to an Admiral's. Like, especially if he becomes like a Logia, especially if we find out he's a Logia or special paramecia, his power has to be, excuse me, his power has to be on the same level as a freaking Admiral. There's just no way. It's not possible. You can't convince me that his power is not. Because there's nothing you can do when you get drenched. In fact, remember this scene where Blackbeard's like stomping around all up in there excited and Magellan just there and Blackbeard just grins and laughs and gets absolutely stomped by Magellan? He gets fucking swamped. Swamped. Coated in poison. Done. He's dead on the ground. Dead on arrival. Like, there's nothing anyone could have done if Shiryu hadn't showed up and was like, oh, I just so happen to have the antidote because I'm the head jailer for some reason is on equal power to the Vice Warden. Why is there a Vice Warden? Like, it's not even comic relief. It's just weird. Why is Hannibal there? I digress. Yeah. So that's pretty much Magellan. I'm excited to see him post-time skip. I mean, we have seen him post-time skip, but I'm excited for another instance in which one of the Straw Hats, or Shanks, or somebody Luffy is close to, actually gets put on the podium to be executed again. And I'm excited for that to be the reason Magellan's resurfaced. Excuse me. Now, here's something interesting. Let's put our tinfoil caps on. There we go. All right. Get this. And I've talked about it before, but I didn't do it justice. I had maybe an hour of sleep. I still work, guys. I won't do this full time. But a way to bring Magellan back into the canon of the story would be the instance in which we see the assassin trying to free Doflamingo. Now, I know I've already talked about this, but I didn't do it justice, guys. I didn't do it justice. And I know this is a Magellan video, but I have to talk about it. Because it makes perfect sense to me. It makes sense that Spandine, this horrible human being that works for the underground that also is a world government official, hires Captain Kuro. Now, why Kuro? Well, Kuro would have become... Woof, I'm having trouble speaking. I'm getting too excited. Let's bring it down. Bring the simmering down. All right. Spandine, world government official. Asshole. We get it, right? Spandam's dad. Crazy dude, actually has power, right? Started CP0s just so his son wouldn't get kicked out of the world government. He hires Kuro, who's a freelance assassin, and a notable one at that, who's going by a different alias. Because remember, Captain Kuro is no longer Captain Kuro. He's probably going by something else. And Spandine hires him from the underground network to go kill Doflamingo. Now, why does Kuro make sense to be this assassin? Well, Kuro's untrained for the most part. Kuro's untrained, and not only that, when you look up his stats, he's 6'4" and like 120 pounds. The dude is long and skinny, like impossibly skinny. He's so light on his feet you wouldn't hear him coming naturally. Now, if he had any type of training, whether it's Rokoshiki or hockey or literally any type of training the world government could offer him, and he did that during the entirety of the 2-year time skip, and then got hired to hunt Doflamingo, bro, let me tell you, Kuro would be a menace. Kuro would be a menace. Now I know every time I bring up like Cross Guild or I bring up like the Assassin's Guild in my other video with Doflamingo, I talk about Kuro. He's one of my favorite characters, it's no secret. But Kuro would be perfect for dodging Magellan's attacks. Magellan is incredibly powerful with his Hydra form. When he coats himself in poison and the Hydras come out, you're not dodging that. You're not dodging that. And then like the manga and anime do a really good job showing this repeatedly. Because like the poison just drips everywhere, and the poison, the toxin, melts whatever inanimate object it lands on. Like we see it melt the concrete. Like that's extremely potent stuff. And if there's anybody that could dodge that, it's a 6'4", 120-pound man. That dude would be able to just, and like his, in an SBS, I have it here somewhere, and I'm going to put it up. But in an SBS, I remember specifically that Kuro, when he goes into his cat out of the bag technique, where he's all like slumped and he does his stuff, his speed is comparable to that of CP9's Soru or Shave technique, which is crazy because Kuro has not had the same level of training that CP9 has had. Right? Because if he did, he wouldn't need to go through the like technique of the cat out of the bag. It takes too long. He could just do like the little and boom, crazy teleportation. And like it's crazy because this isn't even brought up during the CP9 arc when Luffy sees it. And Luffy says something along the lines of like, I stomp 4 times and then I like shoot really fast. And it's like, all right, I see where you're coming from. There's a technique to this, and you have to figure out like the steps in order to learn the technique. Anyone who's done martial arts understands that. You can't just do the technique. You can't mirror it. You've got to learn it step by step in order to become more fluid and efficient at it. Anyway, Kuro with some training would definitely be able to give Magellan problems. And if we do find out that Magellan's a Logia user or special paramecia user, it won't even matter. Magellan's not getting away from Kuro's cat claws, let alone subduing Kuro. He's too fast. He's way too quick. And Kuro, also, I see him having, like, I'm having trouble putting it into words, but, like, have you guys seen Hunter x Hunter? Do you remember Killua's technique where he's able to make, like, clones of himself while he walks? I might be able to do it for this video, like, when I'm editing. But he does like the clone stuff when he walks. Imagine Kuro being able to create after images. There we go. After images, guys. But like imagine Kuro creating after images of himself. Magellan wouldn't know what to do and would just coat the whole place. By then Kuro is already gone. Magellan thinks job well done. And then Kuro gets to Doflamingo. And then Bob's your uncle, right? And Magellan would have issues with this. Magellan would try to fight back or whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Magellan's such a good guy. Magellan's a really good guy, like, at heart. He's all about duty, he's all about honor, and he's all about protecting the citizens. Like, his outlook is so important. He's like, listen, I can't let a single one of these prisoners out of line, because one of them has the power to change an entire country. And he's absolutely right. I mean, like, take, like, one of the weakest prisoners we saw. Buggy's one of the weakest named prisoners we saw. Take Buggy, for example, who's now a fucking Yonko. You know what I mean? Like, he's absolutely right. Any one of these dudes, doesn't matter if they're named or not, could absolutely topple a country. Especially when they have newfound ambition from being stuck in a prison. There's nothing to do in prison but think. And that's when you become a truly dangerous and capable individual, is when you have a plan that you can execute perfectly. And when you're just thinking about that plan, you're thinking of all the things that can go wrong and how to actually eliminate those possibilities. So these prisoners are especially dangerous, and it takes an especially dangerous man to keep them in line. Now, I know I went on a tangent about Kuro fleeing Doflamingo. I just felt like I didn't do it justice in that video, and I'll probably make another video on that specifically. Why that's important, though, is because if another prison breakout occurs, and it's with Doflamingo and Kuro, Magellan might not survive, guys. Magellan might take his own life. Or at the very least, Magellan will get fed up and chase them. That's something that would be crazy, right? In a whole, like, mini arc, you've got Doflamingo, Kuro forming an organization of assassins, and Magellan's sole purpose right now is to kill those two assholes. Absolutely coat them in poison and see them later sinking at the bottom of the ocean. That would be awesome. I would love to see his devil ability again. What was that called? I don't remember, but he's got like 3 major abilities that are crazy. Number 1, Magellan has that cloud. That crazy cloud with tentacles that quote-unquote is him. Again, points to a Logia. Anyway, or at least an awakened can't speak. Let's try it again, guys. An awakened Paramecia, right? Like, that's crazy. So he's got the cloud ability, he's got the Hydra ability, and then he has that devil ability where like the red poison comes out and melts everything around him, and it's giant and like, and just like coating everything. That is why I think he's Admiral level, is because he's spent so much time with his devil fruit, he's honed these abilities to a science. He knows what works and what doesn't. Like his Kuro ball, his prison guards knew immediately that they were going to pass out from the poisonous gas. The Kuro ball itself isn't that dangerous. It's the gas it releases around you. It's pure chloroform. Like, you're going to pass out. So it's really interesting. And like, another thing about Magellan that we can assume or infer is that he's got a pretty good knowledge basis of chemistry, because he's able to actually create whatever he ingests. Really weird, I know, but he is. He's able to, like, create these poisons of what it seems like to be his mental, like, thought. Excuse me. He's, like, able to essentially put his thoughts into poison, which is funny. And that's like the assumed way devil fruits work anyway. Like, if you're able to think it up, you can probably do it with your devil fruit ability. And I think that's what Vegapunk means when he says the essence of the devil fruit is desire. Like, if you want to do something and your will is to do it, your devil fruit will find a way to compensate that. And Magellan's does just that. Like, if Magellan thinks of a new poison he can make, his poison becomes that. Like, we've seen different levels of toxin exuding from Magellan. It's not just one. It's not just the neurotoxin, which is why when Bon Clay turned into Hannibal and was looking for an antidote for Luffy, the Impel Down guards were just like, we don't have one. It's not that simple. It's comprised of like thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of different toxins. We can't cure Luffy. In fact, if we tried, the antitoxin or the anti-venom would just kill him faster. And Bon Clay was just like, oh. And then when Ivankov saved Luffy by stabbing him with the hormone injection just to speed up his healing factor, Luffy's white blood cells and antibodies had to get into effect right then, naturally, to fend off the venom. It was all up to Luffy's body. And I'll make a whole theory about how Luffy survived that, because as a physiologist, I could probably break it down really well for you. But anyway, Magellan's one of my favorite characters in all of One Piece. I hope this video does him justice. I'm getting more fluent at talking to the camera and talking to you guys, and I absolutely love it. Let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. I'm trying to build a big One Piece community. And also, this Saturday, if my camera comes in and everything works perfectly, I'm going to be doing my first subathon, where I am streaming Metal Gear Solid. There's a poll up right now. If you guys could go vote on the poll, I want to see which Metal Gear Solid you guys want me to play. 1, 2, 3, or 4. I even have Vengeance, and I also have 5. So I have all of them. I have every single, like, mainstream Metal Gear Solid game. So if you guys can, Make sure to let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you all. Bye-bye.